going on, people? Today I want to talk about dosing real quick. Dosing in the reef tank. Many of you, of course, know how to do this, but for those who don't, I'll just give you a quick video about how I do it, and what's the point of dosing, and is it necessary, beneficial, and stuff like that. Try to keep it short. Now, basically, what I'm dosing, I'm talking about alkalinity. That's here on the left. A bunch of magnesium in the middle. Excuse me, that's alkalinity, magnesium, and calcium right here. 3 tubes going into the doser, and 3 more tubes going into the tank. Okay, you see them right there. 3 white knobs are holding the tubes in it. Now, how do you know? Now, what do I use to dose? I use the BRS 2-part. You know this product, and it's just basically the cheapest stuff. Okay, so real quickly, to maintain proper parameters, we're talking about alkalinity of 90 kH, calcium about 450, magnesium about 1450. Now, how do you know how much to dose in your tank and whether you even need to dose? So as you can see, I have a good amount of corals, and so some of them do require they intake calcium and stuff like that, so they require that to build up their skeletons. So how do you know how much to dose? Basically, you test your water on day 1. So today you would test your water, check your calcium, alkalinity, and magnesium, don't do anything, and test it again in 4 days. Okay, once you've tested in 4 days, you could see how much your tank has used up in those 4 days of calcium, magnesium, alkalinity. Well, magnesium really wouldn't change, but you're mainly looking at calcium and alkalinity. I'll talk about magnesium in a second. And basically, so after 4 days, you know your tank consumption. So what you want to do is divide that number by 4, and now you know how much to dose daily of each of those things, calcium and alkalinity. Another very important thing is that I kind of found out the hard way, and this might have been a silly mistake, is you have to dose equal amounts of calcium and alkalinity. So if you're dosing 20 milliliters a day, whatever your number is for your tank size, you have to dose the same amount for calcium and alkalinity. If you don't, one of your parameters will keep going up or down, and they have an opposite effect on the other parameters. So your calcium is going to keep going up, and that's going to keep dropping your alkalinity. You don't want that. You want it to keep to be stable. Stability is the main the main thing in this hobby. Can't stress that enough. Okay, now the magnesium, you won't be needing to dose that as frequently. Magnesium, you want it to be around 1450. So let's say your tank is 1350 when you test it. Just have to bring it up by 100 slowly. So within a week you would dose that to 1450. You wouldn't need to dose again for almost another month. So in another month you would just dose another 100 milliliters of magnesium to bring that right back to 1450. It's very important also to keep your magnesium up, but you don't have to dose that daily. Daily you're probably going to have to dose alkalinity and calcium. That's it. Now, the way to do it, your easiest way is going to be a dosing pump. There's many of these on the market. I bought this used off of a Reef forum. That's probably the best way to do it. Paid less than 200 for it. And so basically, since I have to dose about 20 milliliters a day, I spread that out in about 10 to 10 hours. So about 2 milliliters every hour is slowly dosed into the tank of both calcium and alkalinity. And magnesium, as I said, it's only once a month. I dose 100 milliliters throughout the week. That's basically all you need to know. I try to keep this video short. Just make sure your levels are again at 90 kH for alkalinity, somewhere around that. It could be 8, it could be 10, but steady. Calcium around 450, could be a little less, a little more, but steady. No more than 500, no less than 400. And yeah, that's about it. Magnesium 1450, you should be good with that number. And that's about it. So if you have any questions, feel free, comment below. Any advice is appreciated. Thank you and peace out.